right here. 7K Champs. Brand new code today. Also, Twitch drops just reset about an hour ago. Also, full kits to the Hellfire Club are now available, including speeds, uniques, and they're bonkers. Rachel Summers has some great plug and play viability, and also she's going to get used on Immortals and Crucible. And Aazil has an accursed tag. He's going to get used with accursed in Crucible for sure. Also, bunch of updates today, and I think this was a little bit unexpected. We did know that Mr. Fantastic was going to be going into the Intel store. Keep in mind, there's only 14 days left on that. So, like, I've got about 400,000. I need to buy the 20s or whatever else I'm looking for. Also, there's this unstable orbs. Now, choose wisely. I did pick the ones with the character shards. You can only pick one of the four, right? And this is what I got. Yeah, there is a chance for Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, but the odds are pretty bad. So choose wisely. I'm not sure that was a good value for me. Maybe I should have went for the 20s. I'm not sure. But other people got lucky and got lots of Mr. Fantastic. I know when you open this, it does satisfy some of the command center and you get a bunch of Mr. Fantastic. I think I got about 70 Mr. Fantastic from completing the command center milestone. So there's that. And then also there's a new tab in the command center where it shows, and you can click over, there are several tabs. One of the tabs shows a new Annihilation raid. It says Unleash Hellfire, which of course is a new mutant raid team. Recruit and train the Hellfire Club in order to outplay this new raid format. So the question has come up, is that going to be Spotlight or Chaos? I suspect Chaos, but I don't know. We'll have to see, but it feels like that's going to replace the Chaos. In addition to this, there's a new tab here, right when you load into, and a lot of people say, is this a spoiler for the third legendary, the legendary that's going to be after Blastar? And I don't think so. I think this is placeholder. Someone showed that on the website, the placeholder art for Aazil is showing the same character, and I think this is just Captain Placeholder. Also on the website, it has this, which is like a shadow, and I don't think this is placeholder at all. And it also mirrors this infographic right here, where it's going to be a little bit differently. And then 3 months ago, in a strike spot, they showed this silhouette here. So all three of those are different than this, and I think this is just placeholder. A lot of people have speculated, specifically with this art right here, with the collar, that it looks very familiar to Blue Marvel. So let's get into the kits. Couple things here. Aazil uses Ballistic Weave, which is the same as OG Emma Frost, right? Blastar Infinite Energy. Rachel Summers uses Astral Energy, which is the same as Maline Prior. So for me, I am not taking Emma Frost and Maline Prior up to gear tier 20. And they don't really have what we call the 19.5 pieces, right? You know, it doesn't have that 600,000 boost or whatever in health. So I'm not doing that. Now, for me, I'm not really inclined to gear tier 20 reworked characters. I mean, I think some people probably gear tier 20 Mordo. And Aazil essentially is going to be replacing Mordo on the Curse team, so that doesn't feel good. A lot of people have asked about Maline Prior to go to gear tier 20 for the Professor X saga because she needs 2 pieces. By the way, Emma is 4 pieces. That's pretty expensive, right? But Maline Prior with 2 pieces. Duelim had gone through before the rework, and the reworks are live in game right now, and cleared it with Maline Prior. I don't have any firsthand experience or any feedback on whether or not that is good or bad, but I suspect it's fine. But if you do it, you know, report back and let me know how it worked out for you. So there are the mini uniques for the, I guess these are 19 uniques, right? And then also we've got the speed stats. Now, we've got the fastest one being Sebastian Shaw at 126. Rachel Summers at 124, Aazil at 122, Emma at 111, and Maline Prior is abysmally slow at 104. I will draw your attention to her passive. There's a couple things happen here. 50% chance to assist on non-attack abilities. So like Emma has 2 non-attack abilities, her ultimate and her special. And then also when an enemy attacks this character, any other character, the Hellfire, Marauder, or cloned ally below 50% health, there's going to be a pretty powerful mind control. Still, I'm not really sure how useful she's going to be, you know, at 104 speed. My goodness. Now, we're going to go over the kits. I'm going to switch sides. There's some bonkers stuff in these kits. Holy moly. So this is Rachel Summers. Again, Rachel Summers has a speed of 124 and will be using the astral energy, same as Maline Prior, but this passive just seems bonkers. On spawn, gain immunity. This character is 3 or more immortal. Applying immunity to all immortal X-Men. Cool. Cool. If Cable is not an ally and this character is 3 or more immortal X allies, fill 5% speed bar for self and immortal X-Men. So she has the immortal X-Men tag, which is cool because then she can go right into Crucible and boost the team. This also gives hope, possibly, for Thunderbolts. Maybe we'll get a new character, maybe like MCU Yelena or something like that, and maybe that'll revitalize the Thunderbolts in the same way that Aazil is gonna boost the Curse team. Well, this is also gonna boost the Immortal team. This does allow for some theory crafting in the kind of like what we do right now currently with Superior 6, Sinister 6, you know, where you can put in like Mysterio or Vulture or Lizard and make it work differently against certain team comps. So maybe we'll be subbing out Cable, maybe we'll sub out Polaris, but this is one of the stipulations here where if he has to not be an ally for this to take effect. On enemy turn, if that character has speed up or stun, attack for 250 piercing and flip 3 positive effects into negative effects. Okay. Speed up or stun. This is great. When an enemy gains slow, if this character has 3 or more Hellfire or Immortal X-Men allies, reduce that character's speed bar by 15% and apply trauma. What? This is crazy. Also want to point out this one right here, which I just read, is not tied to anything. Not tied to game mode. Not tied to being on a team. That is great. This really blows my mind right here because this is the same situation. Not tied to a team. Not tied to a game mode. So this is like what I would call like a stick ability. Kind of in the same way that Echo, you know, we use Echo still today because she stops assists. We use America Chavez in Alliance War because she does speed bar, right? Well, this is kind of one of those abilities, right? Protect your enemies, cannot spawn with immunity or safeguard. Okay, immunity and safeguard are kind of staples on some of these characters, like Gladiator, a lot of them, right? These are the protectors, right? Wow. Wow. And I think that gets better over time. You know, any kind of protector that comes out that spawns with immunity or safeguard, it's going to shut that down, right? We're already using Ares and Apocalypse for that reason. Primarily, this is only on protectors. Then support enemies cannot spawn with immunity and cannot gain speed bar on spawn. Here's a list of some support right here. Not shown here is like Void Knight, which gets speed bar on spawn, and then you also got Apocalypse right there. That'll mess with Apocalypse a little bit there, with immunity. Then, if this character has 3 more Immortal X and allies, enemy characters can only have the resistance increased by positive effects. Nice. Enemy characters cannot gain assist now. Nice. Now, assist is different than assist now. And I'll have to dig deeper into exactly that, but I know there is a difference. Gain drain. Hellfire and Immortal X-Men allies gain 25% drain. And this is going to be huge for Immortals. Provide a lot of sustain. I feel like Immortals and Accursed kind of would run out of steam in Crucible, and I think this is going to help right here with Immortal. And then when we get over to the Aazil kit, we'll see how that's going to help Accursed inside of Crucible. So that's going to be great. Aazil, right? Villain, Cosmic Mutant Brawler, Hellfire Club, Accursed. Again, we've got the Ballistic Weave like OG Emin, and then the speed bar on Aazil is going to be 122. We're just gonna call him Evil Nightcrawler, and there's some bonkers stuff on this kid. Let's just call him Evil Nightcrawler. Now, a lot of this is placeholder. Like I said, I don't think this was supposed to be launched today at all. On spawn, this character has 3 more Hellfire Club or Cursed allies. Build speed by this character by 5%. Generate 1 ability energy for this character. In raids on enemy death, generate 1 ability energy for self and the Hellfire Club allies. Fill speed bar for self and all Hellfire Club allies by 15%. Yeah, they're supposed to be the next mutant raid team. Gain 15% drain. And then Hellfire and Cursed allies gain 15% drain. This is bonkers because other than Satana, there was not a lot of sustain on the Cursed team inside of Crucible. Now, this is just some of the most bonkers effects I've ever seen in my life. I mean, look at the cooldown on this. It's really long, but this is some bonkers stuff, though. I haven't seen something like this in a long time. Attack the primary target for piercing. Clear 1 positive effects. Fine. Reduce speed bar by 15%. Well, this is going to go on and, another 8 more times or something similar. This is crazy. Rebound chain, 8 targets with infinite spaces of the previous targets for piercing. Clear 1 positive effect. Reduce speed bar by 15%. Times 8. All of this stuff times 8. Yeah, this is basically hitting 9 times already. Right? 1, 8. And then bonus attack, highest speed bar for piercing, clear 1 positive effect, apply slow, and reduce speed bar 50%. And I suppose if you put Striker and you hit into Voltoro, that's another one. This character has 3 more health core to Cursed allies. This attack cannot be countered or ignores defense up. Yeah. And this part right here is not tied to a game mode, not tied to a team. Crazy. Evil Nightcrawler. Attack all enemies for damage. Flip defense up, apply bleed. Bonus attack the enemy with the highest damage for 320% damage and apply blind. This character has 3 or more Hellfire or Cursed allies. Cannot be counterattacked. Yay. Hellfire slash. Attack primary target for damage. Bonus attack the enemy with the highest damage for 150% damage. If the character has 3 or more Hellfire or Cursed, cannot be counterattacked. Fine. Now Sebastian Shaw. It's going to be the fastest character on the team. The data mine suggested that this is going to be the last character released. It's going to be in that order, I think, that I do. Rachel, Aazil, then Sebastian Shaw. Pathfinder on stream did mention that he is not going to be an epic character. That's right. Sebastian Shaw is not going to be an epic character. And as far as the unique, again, aluminum, I don't know. And then 126. So it should be the first character on the team to go. Now let's read the passive. On spawn, gain taunt, so he's the protector. Bear yourself for 30% of the character max health. This character has 3 or more Hellfire Club allies, gain charged. And this charge mechanic's bonker because it allows him to stun on a basic and an ISO attack. When an enemy attacks this character, gain charge and apply charge to random Emma Frost ally. Fill speed bar for 5% for that Emma Frost ally. When this character drops below 50% max health, bear yourself for 10% of this character's max health. Plus fill the speed bar of a random Emma Frost ally by 50%. Wow. While this character has charged, gain damage, resistance, focus, damage reduction, maximum 80% damage reduction. Character cannot gain exposed, vulnerable, or heal block. This is crazy. While it's charged. Character cannot have their speed bar reduced while charged. In raids, helpful allies cannot gain taunt. Huh. Was that like an anti-liberty thing? In raids? Or maybe that's for simming so he doesn't get focused fired down. Or maybe that's a sim type thing. Also, it's worth mentioning the Maline Prior reworks and OG Emma reworks are live in game. You're welcome to take a look at that. Emma didn't change at all. And then we just got Maline Prior there. There's some minor changes worth looking at. Let's go back to the Sebastian Shaw kit. Long cooldowns, which is interesting for a raid team. Attack primary for piercing. Attack primary adjacent targets for piercing. If charged, damage is increased by 150%. Attack ignores defense up. While charged, this attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked or counterattacked. Okay. Then, explosive redirection. Clear all barrier on all enemies. This kind of like an anti-null thing there too. I don't think that matters much though anymore. Attack all enemies for damage. If charged, damage is increased by 125%. Character has 3 more Hellfire Club, heal block, and defense down for 2 turns to all enemies, and then reduce the speed bar of enemies by 5%. Gain taunt. Fear yourself and all Hellfire Club allies for 30% of the character's max health. Apply defense up for 2 turns and safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Hellfire Club allies. Fill speed bar for 35% for a random Emma Frost ally. You're going to want to put Emma Frost on this team with him. Emma Frost kit didn't change at all. Just going to be stat increases, which is fine because she has had a very good kit for a long time. It's just mostly been stats. While charged, CAC is unavoidable and cannot be blocked or counterattacked. Now, this is what's going to make him a little bit bonkers, in my opinion. If charged, apply stun to the primary target and clear charge from this character. While charged, this attack is unavoidable and cannot be counterattacked. This is also the ISO attack, because they said explicitly in the Strike Time video that this would also work on ISO attack, assists, and counterattack. So, that being interesting, I do think that this makes the team better in the player's house, where you can, manage the vulnerables, do this here, stun that character there, where I don't know if the AI is necessarily going to play that perfectly, but this provides a lot of opportunity to control the enemy team. Absolutely. Let me know what you think about all this. Bye for now.